In this movie, we're going to learn how to select printers. When you go under your Apple menu down to the chooser, you will have an option to click on various types of printers that you have installed in your computer. You'll recognize those kind of printers, whatever you have installed. Laser printers, Apple laser printers, you'll see any of them in the district. In fact, you can even see them in Jackson Heights since they're on our wide area network. If you click on that, you'll see a list, and it may look exactly like this. It may or may not, depend if the printers are on or not. Currently, the one that's blue, that's selected, that's the one that we're currently printing to. You can scroll up, you can see some that say JHHS, and so forth. We're working hard to try to get these named to be a little more intuitive. Some of these, they even have a photocopier, I believe, up there that you could print to, but I've got to talk to Vern to see how that's working out, because it sounds like a good idea to be able to print to a photocopier. But you click on LaserWriter Pro 630. If you want to switch printers, you just choose the printer that you want to go to. And you notice there's a little printer guy there to the left of it. That means that printer's already been set up. And so, you know, sometimes you see that little setup button down there. You can always, if you have never done it before, you click on a printer, you have to click the setup button. Now the printers that you're going to print to are one of these three. That one's up there in 204 HHS is Mr. Hernandez printer, the LaserWriter 8500. The LaserWriter Pro 630 and the 16600, those are down in the library at the high school, the media center. So let's click on LaserWriter 8500 and click the Create button. And what this does is it communicates, your computer will communicate with the printer, and it'll set it up. Even though it would work without doing this, this will get the optimal settings set up. So instead of using some default, thinking that it's a 300 dot per inch printer when actually it might be a 600 dot per inch printer, it'll let you, it'll look something like this, and it'll get it set up. And plus it'll build you a desktop printer. And desktop printers, it shows up on the desktop. If you notice there over to the right there where my cursor is, my pointer, it says LaserWriter 8500. That wouldn't happen unless you click the setup button. And now you see those little printers beside each one. So part of what I want you to do in this activity is, I want you to set up these printers to where you can at least have those three on your desktop. Click the Close window, and when you do, you'll see those printers again on the right there. I want you to notice that. And let's go down to the chooser again. And when you click on the laser printer, it'll look. And of course you have to have LaTech active so it'll look across the network. You can switch printers at any time by just clicking whichever one you want to work on. And you see how that black bar over there on the right is around the 8500? Now when I close that, I selected the 16600. Visually it's going to change, and the 16600 is going to have that black magic marker kind of look around it. That tells you visually that's the printer that you have set up, and that's where it's planning on going. See how the 16600 over there has got that black, dark line around the printer? So that kind of tells you visually that's where you're printing to. So sometimes we've got a color laser printer in the district. If you can look at your desktop and say, okay, I'm still printing here, it'll remember that, and normally you don't have to mess with it. You can double click on that printer, and when you go to print from ClarisWorks, you can come back to the desktop, use the application menu, and come back there, and you can see if there's a print job in there that's having problems. You can also click on the printer. If you want to switch to a different printer, click on it once and go to the printing menu. And most people don't switch printers that way, but it's kind of slick. And go down and say set the default printer down at the bottom of the printing menu. Remember, we're in the Finder with the happy little face up in the top right. And now I've switched printers. I don't even have to go to the chooser. The chooser is getting closer to being obsolete. They're trying to get away from that just because it's easier to be able to just click on, I want to go to that printer there, and then I can want to print over to there. In fact, you can take documents. If you had the documents folder open, you could drag a document like ClarisWorks, something you've written, on top of the printer, and it would open up ClarisWorks, and it would open up the print menu. And you just have to hit print. So there's actually some drag and drop things that I didn't show here, but again, it's a little bit more about printing than you might not have known some of these things, particularly desktop printers things. A lot of people at the high school have old desk writer printers. You click on the one printer driver that they installed, and they print through the modem or the printer or the modem port. But if you see the one that has the cable hanging out, that'll show you all the desk writer printers in the district, actually. And then you can print any of those, even if you're in one building or another. So just to show you that there are different printer drivers, you can see different types of network printers, and select them. Normally, we're moving towards all laser printers, I think, for the high work, when you want to print to somewhere except for the room, and those will be inkjets probably for another few years. As laser printers are getting cheaper and cheaper, though. But inkjets do a lot of color, and so that's just a little bit more about how you go to your chooser and select printers. And if you ever get that page setup message, just click OK and ignore it.